I want to first welcome our guest here, Assemblyman Tom Giblin.
Yep.
Tom Giblin. And perhaps you can maybe introduce yourself and give us a brief background on. A lot of us know who you are, but maybe you could just refresh us on some of the things that you do.
Well, I was raised in Newark, New Jersey. I live now in Montclair. I've been in Essex County all my life. I've been involved in elective office in several different capacities. I served as a freeholder for 10 years. I'm now finishing up my 8th year in the Assembly. I also served as a Essex County surrogate. I did have an opportunity to run for Essex County Executive, and I've been involved, of course, with the Democratic Party. I served 9 years as the Essex County Democratic Chairman, and in addition to that, I was the State Democratic Chairman, so that maybe shows you I can't hold on to a job. That's a little overview. My life's work has been in the labor movement. I'm involved with Local 68 operating engineers. The type of work that we do is stationary engineers, people who run boiler rooms, do maintenance work, run refrigeration and air conditioning plants. That's primarily the type of members that we have. It's 24 hours, 7-day-a-week work, round the clock, and a lot of our shops are very small units. We're up and down the state. Can go anywhere from 1 or 2 people to 20, 25 people, but that's pretty much that. As far as things that are going on in politics, I guess I'm trying to think of a good descriptive word. It's a little chaotic as we speak. This week we had a sudden death of our Essex County Democratic Chairman, Phil Thigpen, who was buried yesterday. He had been serving in the position for over 10 years. You have lots of action going to happen in the city of Newark coming up, not only Tuesday, but the upcoming municipal election, with the departure of Cory Booker to be the United States Senator. You have the gubernatorial elections being candidate with you. I just left a rally with Senator Bono. She's a good candidate, but most betting people are thinking that the incumbent is going to get reelected to another term. But also with that, if he does get reelected, most people don't see him staying the full 4 years. They see possibly an election in another year and a half, 2 years, because he's looking to run for president, and you're going to have a vacancy. The way it's set up, he's dealing with an issue of time, campaigning the country. There's prohibition about raising money from Wall Street firms if he's a sitting New Jersey governor, so that's also an obstacle. And then even about the potential criticism that he'd face if he's away constantly for weeks or months on a time. So you're going to see a lot of changes with that, and the way it's set up with recent constitutional amendments is that the lieutenant governor would move up if there's a vacancy in the office of governor, and she would serve almost till the next general election. That could go anywhere from a couple months to well over a year, depending on what time of the year he decides to quit if he's successful. But I'm trying to give you a fair assessment about what we see with that. Everybody's wondering if the governor is going to have coattails. A lot of the poll numbers favor him, and we have Democratic control in the Senate and the Assembly. But generally, what happens in these kind of situations where somebody wins large, they bring people in with them whether they're qualified or not. They just happen to be in the right place at the right time. So the jury's still out on that, about the implications of that. So there's a lot of opportunities, coming forth. There'll probably be some change. All the freeholders are up in 2014. 2 or 3 of them already have said they're not seeking re-election, primarily because of their age. So that's going to present opportunities. You have the same situation on the Newark Municipal Council. 4 of the 5 wards, the people have said they're either running for mayor or they're going to be out of here. The only incumbent that I see running for re-election is, Augie Amador in the east. The other wards, there's going to be some changes as far as that's concerned. So there's going to be definitely new faces. Could be 4 or 5 new faces on the municipal council, just with the normal course of events. So I just want to give you a little overview about some of the things that are taking place, at least the way I see it.
That's good. Assembly, I'd like to ask you a question. The body of the people that are here now, a lot of us have concerns because I know you've been around the Muslim community for a lot of years. And, outside of the Muslim League of Voters, who has been active in the past and still active now, what kind of advice can you give us? Because there's some concerns that we have in terms of, because some of us are late starters. And I'm talking about Muslims getting involved actively in the political arena. What advice could you give us about some of the concerns we have in terms of, in the political arena, in terms of the crime that's going on, the education? And one sister brought up the Eid holidays that we're trying to get involved. So we're trying to stay actively involved in the political arena. Is there some type of blueprint or suggestion that you could give the Muslim community?
Well, I think what you should do is try to crystallize maybe 5 or 6 things that are really the most important things. Not that any issue you want to bring up isn't important, but let's look at try to zero in on, like I said, about 5 or 6 items, and you have to get this out to the elected officials or the decision makers. They have to know what your platform is or your agenda. The other thing is you should invite them, the way I've done in the past. I mean, to come here. You might be a better situation one-on-one than collectively having the whole mass come here. But, especially with the municipal elections coming up in May, say if you just did two at a time, hypothetically. I know you're dealing with incumbents and other people, but, I think you have to get them to understand what you've done here in the community. I mean, you've come a long way here, not only with this facility, but the type of services that you offer, and the whole issue here. Every time I come here, I see family, and that's a big issue. What you're trying to do for your kids, and trying to give them ethics and the right path to pursue, and keep them out of harm's way. I know there's a lot of challenges out there. We got to keep the kids from. We got to keep them out of jail, first of all. I mean, I know that seems simple, but kids are subject to a lot of peer pressure, and we have to look at that. And the same thing as far as with our education, it's extremely important with that. And I might have mentioned this before, as far as the group is concerned. We have to think about having leadership programs, and what I envision is that if you ran, say, hypothetically, a program maybe about 6 or 7 nights, and then try to get different people, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim, to come in and talk to you about different facets as far as leadership is concerned, in the community, and try to advise you. If you're a candidate, there's election laws that you have to know about, or if you don't know about, this is where you go to get the information as far as that. This is how government works. If you want to get on the ballot as a candidate, with petitions, and why you need them notarized and legally done. There's a lot of sometimes nitty-gritty little things that are important about trying to help you, and that's, I think, an important area that you need to pursue. But I mean, you basically. It's like any other group. Lolita will tell you, we get a lot of mail. We get a lot of emails. And if you have one issue, for example, with the the holiday that you're talking about.
The Eid.
The Eid. I know, for example, like in Passaic, with the Board of Education, they just adopted that. They're looking at it in Clifton. And I think that you have to reach out to the Board of Education people, hypothetically, because you want it with, especially as far as the kids are concerned, but they set their calendars pretty early in the year. So what you have to do is, for September of 14, you almost need to be working on it now. You have to put a letter into the superintendent and then the board members about recognizing the holiday and why it's so important as far as your religion and your culture is concerned. But you gotta formalize some of these things. I mean, and then I think you need to lobby some of the board members, and either through a follow-up letter or a phone call, or even go to a board meeting and present this to the board and try to get some publicity on it. I mean, you hear the adage a lot of time. The noisiest bearing gets the most attention, and that's true in this case or in other issues. People have to know how significant the population as far as the Muslim community is in Newark, and all of you are hardworking folks and your families, and you're not looking for anything different than what any other racial or ethnic or religious group is looking for. You're looking for a job, a safe neighborhood, good education, an opportunity to serve, be on different boards, and even with the new mayor that's taking place, I think what you have to do is, there's a lot of different boards that the mayor has authority to appoint individuals. You have to start thinking about putting names in after an individual is elected about who you have that are willing to serve on these particular boards, and it's an important element. And just to mention, to the sister, I had an opportunity to talk to her, and she has a good background, and I think her attitude as far as looking to serve the citizens of Newark is very important. And I find that the biggest virtue in government or politics is perseverance. People don't realize this, but when I first had an opportunity to run for office, I ran when I was a kid. I ran against the legendary Thomas H. Kane Sr., and that was not a walk in the park. Trust me, I got my head handed to me in the election, but even losing, I got something out of it in terms of understanding the issues, to get a little self-confidence, and try to learn something with the debates and things like that. I mean, I was actually put on a debate on NJN against Tom Kane Sr. You didn't think that was a little bit intimidating, but still, you'd be surprised. You learn from those experiences. So I know winning is important, but even if you lose in the right type of manner, and you get some experience or insight about how to deal with issues, it's a learning opportunity and can be positive. Not everybody can, win every game or be successful in every area, but that's part of the life process, if you get what I'm saying. So you gotta hang in there and be perseverant. And I think that you got to start tooting your own horn a bit. I mean, what you've been able to accomplish here under the leadership of Iman Ali K. Muslim and Iman Abdul Abkar over the years. I've seen what you can do, and there was a lot of naysayers. You can't do this. You can't get the building. You can't raise the money. But if you listen to people like that keep telling you what you can't do, you'll go nowhere. So I think you gotta, like I said, put together. If you want me to come back and help you and give you addresses or people that you should be in contact with, it's all important. And I think nothing. Put what your agenda is in. This is what you'd like to see take place. Then follow up. Give them the courtesy. A lot of us are busy, but follow up and say you'll come to their office. You'll meet them at their convenience, things like that, and you'll be surprised. You'll get some positive results.
Great, fantastic.
May I speak to the question that you asked? I think everything that we need, we have right here in the community. And until we realize that, then we're gonna run in circles. That's just the bottom line. I was talking to this brother in Kings earlier this week, and he was suggesting that all of the masjids have addresses, names and addresses, because a lot of people might worship in the masjids in Newark, but they might not live in Newark. They might live in East Orange. They might live in Irvington. Like, we need to know where our voting block is. Because now I'm not afraid to talk politics since this is a political conversation. If you have a serious voting block, we can have the power and the numbers. Politicians will come to us. We don't have to go to them. If we're organized. If we serious. I mean, we can sit and talk, all day, and I know my election is on Tuesday, but this is not just about me. I'm the face of a movement. And whatever Allah wills is going to happen. But we are never going to get blessed to rise to the place where we're supposed to be. It won't get organized. That's just the bottom line. If we are organized within the Muslim community, it should be a serious political organization. I know we didn't always participate in politics, and some people still getting over that hump, but we should be over it. Between Irvington, East Orange, and Newark, there should be no reason why it shouldn't be strong. And we understand just because somebody is Muslim doesn't mean that, we always on the same team. But at some point, we should be able to come back and play on the same team. Now, I haven't been involved intricately with certain groups, so I don't know. But just from an outsider looking in, I haven't seen people be able to, this person with this team, this person with that team. I never been able to see people fold in as Muslims to push for our agenda. So that's that. What could we do? I know I walked in, I heard Brother Wadu talking about it as I came in. What could we do? Let's start by creating a database. That's step one. Where do folks live? Where do our children go to school? Do we have children that are part of the masjids that are in colleges? So we have different committees. Just because we worship in different places, if we're talking about a political agenda, we should be able to come together and work in that aspect. So everything we have, everything we need, we have right here within the community. We have people that are leaders that have been around for years. One of the things that I would like to see, if blessed to have the opportunity, we know we have a crime issue in the city of Newark. We know we have a policing issue. I don't think, police are the answer to crime. We need to take a holistic approach. I want to see, I've never seen, I'm 28, Rick Holmes done put my age out to everybody on Channel 12, so I'm fine with that. I've never seen what I've heard about when this was Masjid 25 or we were in the nation and brothers are doing this and doing that and sisters are having these type of classes. I haven't seen it. So if it exists, I apologize. But we need to go back to the basics of those things. We need to be involved in the lives of young people. We can sit and we can talk all day, but until we organize ourselves, it doesn't matter who comes in. We're going to continue to have what we have. And I'm not apologetic in talking about this because I feel so passionately about it. I don't have to, and this is not to anybody in the room, this is in general. I shouldn't have to beg Sister Zaima to show me what I have in me. You understand what I'm saying? I need to support Sister Zaima. It doesn't matter whether or not I'm from Newark because East Orange impacts what happens in Newark. And we have power that we're not using. And it frustrates me so much. It frustrates me with young people and it frustrates me with the elders. So, I'm talking now, but I'm tired of talking. So after we talk, let's leave with an action plan. Can we commit to the different masjids? Can we at least get a database started so that we know where people are? Then, can we have the men in our community just do something? Just do something with the other young men that's the brothers. This stuff is simple. If people in Cuba, if kids in Cuba who can read are teaching adults how to read and they have a higher literacy rate, and we have an issue here with Newark Public Schools where we're getting at least $16,000 to educate kids and they in the 9th grade and can't read. We could blame the system all day, but we allow the system to be the way it is. So when we're ready to take ownership and actualize the power that we have within us, that's when we're going to see change in our community.
Fantastic. Any questions to our panel? Any questions to Mr. Assemblyman Giblin, Sister Linda? Any questions? We need some questions because we're trying to develop a blueprint. She mentioned some very, very intricate good points. Mr. Giblin, he gave us some suggestions and ideas. Basically, what we're trying to find out, what's the blueprint and how we can navigate this thing so we become politically strong. So if you have any questions now, you have people here on this panel that has the knowledge to try to get us to navigate this?
Well, I'll say one thing. I really want to belong to this, but I'd rather hear what the community has to say, but I'm not hearing a lot
Right.
from the community.
Okay.
And that really concerns me,
Uh-huh.
because when I go out to any other community, to the Jewish community, the Hispanic community, they're full of questions from a panel like this.
Right, right.
They want to know.
Right. Uh-huh.
They are that concerned.
Exactly.
You won't hear the quietness in the room. So this really concerns me.
Yes, it's a great concern. That's why we're asking for participation. While we have the people of knowledge in the political arena here, you know, what can we do? What questions that you have for this panel that can help make this community better? Not only this community, but the entire all the Muslim communities. Yes, sir.
Well, my question is on Mr. Gibbons.
Go ahead.
It's concerning the healthy workplace bill, S333, that has basically not been supported to the workers in our community. We are affected, and this whole state is affected as a worker, and it's sponsored by the Senate Labor Committee, but it has been stale for numerous amount of years. How can we as a community bring light to this issue where people are bullied on the job, harassed, and in turn take this home with them and do this to their kids, and their kids in return do that to their classmates. So it's a continuing pattern of abuse. So my question to you is, being that you have experience in the field of politics and legislation, how can we as a community bring light and push for more sponsors to this New Jersey Healthy Workplace bill?
Do you know who sponsored that legislation?
Senator Greenstein,
You know, Linda Greenstein from, she's from the Mercer County area. I think what you have to start is your own backyard. I don't know if there's a companion bill in the Assembly with the same wording as far as that's concerned, but I'd be glad to look at it and become the sponsor on the Assembly side, but you have to reach out, like you said, and if you made this a project for the people that you know in the neighborhood, whether it be Senator, Rice or Senator Cody, to try to enlist them to become co-sponsors. And even ask, Senator Greenstein to do the same among ourselves. But what I do a lot of times, if I'm trying to push a piece of legislation, I try to make it easier for my colleagues. I get the appropriate form from, in my case, the Assembly, and all they have to do is basically just sign their name to it. It's all filled in. It's they just got to put their information there, and I give them a return envelope, because a lot of times, and I'm not copping a plea, but we get so much mail and so many emails, and when you see something coming from one of your colleagues, let's put it this way, you pay a little bit more attention to it than you might do the ordinary citizen. It's just that you want to be respectful to each other, and sometimes they ask you to get on a piece of legislation, and vice versa. That's the way the system works. In other words, you ask them, and they ask you in return. So I'd start with that, and I'll look at this particular bill, and you want to give me some information on yourself, I'll be glad to follow up with it and try to get legislation enacted for the next session, because the way it is now, we have a session date this Thursday, and there's going to be a change of guard on that too, because Sheila Oliver is no longer going to be the Speaker of the General Assembly. There's a new person coming in from Hudson County, Vincent Prieto. So everybody has their own style of leadership. So we're going to have to reintroduce some of these bills for the next session again. They die at the end of this year, as far as things that were in the hopper. So,
Okay.
okay?
Okay. Go ahead.
I would like to make another suggestion as well. So in politics, you have money and you have people, right? That's how you get elected to office, and that's how you amass power. So we have the people in the Muslim and Islamic community. I think that's a challenge. We have the Muslim League of Voters. They're great. That is a non-partisan organization, right? But why can't we form our own political PAC. That way we meet, we understand what issues are important to us, and we begin to generate dollars so that we can put the candidate that we want in office. Because, you know, although a campaign like mine or somebody else's who we want to be in office, it may, you know, run on, you know, it may be a lot of love in it. You can't run a campaign on love only and just do us. Although we need prayers, but you can't run a campaign on that only. So if we begin to start to meet, if anybody is interested, and we form our own political PAC where we raise our own dollars, right, for candidates that we want to see in office that not only represent maybe our community, but issues are important to us. And then we can use that political PAC as a way to meet, to discuss issues that are important to us and make sure it's at the forefront. Again, if we are organized, we don't have to worry about trying to pull people to come to the masjid. They're going to find a way. How do I get an Ali K Muslim? Because people are doing that for Metropolitan. How do I get in Metropolitan? How do I get in Bethany? How do I get in Christian Love? You know, that was a part of my campaigning this morning. I just was going to greet people as they were coming in for church. The lady came out, she was like, "You're not going to come talk to us?" So, okay, alhamdulillah, that wasn't my plan, but I'm not going to turn down talking to a congregation full of voters. So the point is that people are trying to figure out and strategize how they get in front of these people. That's a part of the strategy. When you meeting and you discussing politics, where are the voters? That's what people who are seeking office, they want to know. Wherever the voters are, that's where you want to be. And some places are a little harder to get into than others. So the Islamic community, people need to look at us as how do we get in front of the Muslims, right? But we formed this political PAC, again, to start developing. Sisters Ayama can tell you it costs money to run an election. But again, that's the way we begin to amass power. Organizing ourselves, and maybe we can have some type of political PAC so we can raise money for candidates. This is an issue in the city of Newark. I think we should encourage more Newarkers to develop small-based businesses. We could use the institutions in the city. I mean, we have a gym or several gyms here in the city of Newark that they don't have in East Orange, they don't have in Irvington, Camden, other urban areas in the city of Newark, and that's the universities, right? They're doing world research. All this stuff is going on. We need to, I'm pretty sure there are partnerships that take place with the universities, but we could extend those. We can extend those partnerships, and we can use the universities as incubators to help with businesses in the city of Newark. So again, business development, public safety, and something for young people is what I want to focus on as the initial things when I get into office.
We're going to take a short break. Once again, this is MCTV, Media Communication Television. We thank everybody for coming. And hopefully, perhaps after this short break, we'll come back to the panel. Thank you.